All right, Ash, we're here to talk about the no holds barred match at Evolution between Naomi and Jade Cargill. Interesting match. Been there, done that a little bit, but I think that the stipulation kind of helps it.
I do too. It because Naomi's just good. I think she's good at a lot of things, and I think this works in Jade's favor to come off as like this powerful entity that they want her to be. I'll be interested to see how people react if Jade wins, which I do think is going to happen. Something just tells me that Jade's going to win this match. Because I think eventually what's going to happen is Naomi, she's going to win. She's going to beat Tiffany at SummerSlam. And I think that Naomi is going to cash in on Jade at SummerSlam and take that from her. That's where I think this is going.
So timing is everything, because she just won Queen of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi just won Money in the Bank. So it's like we have all these projected storylines. We have this historical Evolution pay-per-view going on. And between those two entities, Money in the Bank, Queen of the Ring, and then there's SummerSlam. So it's a historical match. It's a WrestleMania rematch. And let's kind of put it on this historical event and prop up our future storylines. And for these girls to succeed, and hopefully our future storylines succeed, let's add no holds bars to kind of fix all of perhaps Jade's red flags, or just kind of make it comfortable for her, or just make sure she's shining in the brightest light at Evolution.
Exactly. Yeah. Because regardless of whether or not you're like the best technical wrestler ever, like these no hold bar matches allow you to kind of just, I'd say, have fun as a performer. Like you don't have to, like, obviously you have to think about your partner safety and all that stuff, but like it's also, it can hide things a little bit more if somebody struggles in certain aspects. I'm not gonna knock her for anything. Like I'm not a wrestler. Like I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? But I think at this point, the way, as long as this feud's been going on, it had to get to this eventually, where we do this kind of no DQ, no holds barred, whatever you want to, whatever fancy name they want to call it this week. The street fights, like they're all no DQ matches. But I do think that this story doesn't end here. Like Jade's gonna think it's over, because I do think Jade's gonna win, but it ain't over until the cash in succeeds.
Yeah, and then this kind of like ever-long story of 2025 continues, which branched off of 2024, which established Jade on the main roster. Now, do you think that we see Belair, Bianca at Evolution, and would this be a spot for it? What do you think?
That's something that I've been thinking about too. I was wondering, that's my biggest question, is kind of how, because Jade is kind of Bianca is kind of an integral part of this. So it's like, where does she fit back into this? I know her fingers were facing opposite directions, but like, where does she kind of fit? And I think it makes sense with this being a no DQ match for her to intervene for one or both of them to get them to basically stop. And then where that goes from there, you can kind of set that up. Because I don't think there's a lot to critique about like Triple H's booking style, but one thing I really like that he does is he sets like multiple little seeds for things that could go in the future. So we have like different avenues we can take for one reason or another, or seeing like, oh, we'll lay this seed, this seed, this seed, and this seed, and then, oh, the fans seem to latch onto that, so let's go that route. Now, are the landings always stuck on those? No, but I do like the fact that it's like, it's not just like a straightforward like, this is plan A and this is the only thing that we're doing, and God, I hope it doesn't get derailed by injury or anything else, because I have no plan B. Because you do have plan Bs, because now you have this, and this. So I'll be interested to see what they do with that. I do think, I think you're right. I think as long as Bianca is cleared, I think she's going to show up during this at some point. Yeah. What's going to happen? I couldn't tell you.
See, I don't think that Triple H's approach is messy, even though it like felt a little messy with Belair around WrestleMania time. She's a SmackDown girl. She won Elimination Chamber. She's like the backdrop of this storyline. Is she with Naomi? Is she against Naomi? So she's like spreading her wings, and then she broke her finger, and it's just like, all right, she's kind of been gone since WrestleMania, where she had the injury. So timing is a little bit of everything, and she is on the poster. So I'm curious if timing would become Evolution, or would it be the rematch, Naomi, or both? Because that's where she let off, being messy with both in a way. But I think the messiness is kind of a good thing.
I've had this issue for a minute with people essentially like dream booking, which is completely fine and valid. Like that, it's fun to do that. The issue comes in is when people get mad that their dream booking did not become a reality. So like in my head, I thought like at Night of Champions that Punk was going to beat John, and then Seth was going to cash in on Punk. Like that's what I wanted to happen because I thought it would have been kind of cool. And it didn't happen. And guess what? It's fine. I don't care. Like you would think that like it all goes. We really saw it with Jay. Sorry, I've gotten completely off track here. We saw it really bad with Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble because everybody was convinced that it was either going to be Punk or John that won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and then they threw us the red flag or whatever.
And then they threw us like. They gave you what you wanted. You wanted Jey Uso to get a push. You didn't think he was getting enough, and then he gets a push, and then it's like, no, not like that. Well, what do you want? It's just because, and I genuinely think a lot of it is just the ego thing of them not being right. They didn't predict it correctly, so now they're mad. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you. You're not, go play 2K25. I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, and I got crap on that for online because I posted a TikTok and I was literally like, some of y'all like certain wrestlers, but you don't like wrestling that much. And I got called a mark. I got called a pea brain. I got called stupid. I got called this, that, and other because I said both. Because in another thing too with wrestling, there's more than one correct answer. Like there's more than one quote unquote right answer. So I said both choices, including Charlotte. I know everybody got pissy about that. They were both right. And I was like, they made sense for what's going on, especially in the women's one. Don't get me started on that. And that's more on just them not developing enough of the women's talent to be seen as like title threats, like threats to the title holders. But that's another conversation. But yeah, I just think I like doing things like this where it's like, oh yeah, what do you think's going to happen? This, that, and the other. But where it gets annoying is when people either get mad at you for how you think things are going to go because it's not the way they think things are going to go, or it's they think things are going to go certain. It doesn't go that way, and all of a sudden the booking is terrible because it didn't go the way they thought it was going to go in their head, and it's like,
which is weird, right?
It's so weird. Like, get offline, go do something else. Like, I think there's a point where some people consume too much wrestling content. Like, I love wrestling. I just came back to wrestling a couple years ago. Like, I watched as a kid and then stopped watching and then came back as an adult. Like, but I think some people have lost the plot.
Yeah, it's not a bad way. It's an interesting, weird way to look at it. It's like I've been there, done that, been a wrestling fan my whole life. I was never really emotionally attached to it at that level to get angry over a result. I'd be like, oh, well, that was interesting. And what's next? More of approach, or that was interested in what are we doing type of approach.
Yeah.
But I've never really got like gut triggered or really honestly triggered myself, because that's the whole way of looking at it. You're triggering yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on the Punk of it all.
All right. Well, I'm a Punk guy, so we'll stay away from there. But let's get back on Naomi here. You think Naomi is losing here and winning at SummerSlam?
Yes.
I see that too, and I would agree with you. How long do you think that Naomi would be World Women's Champion or WWE Women's Champion?
Realistically, it really depends, because like it depends on what they do with everybody else building up to it. Because in my head, she would hold it until Mania.
That's a long way. Yeah.
I know, but like realistically, I don't see who she loses it to other than Jade.
Yeah, I think she.
And I feel like Jade, the way they're building Jade up, Jade needs to definitively win her title at a big PLE. And so maybe the Rumble, but I would say, or Elimination Chamber, but I would say do it at Mania. And I think Naomi has put in the work and earned, and she's even said it herself that she's on like the tail end of everything. with her like career. Like she wants to settle down and try to have kids and all that stuff. And so I'd say let her have her moment and let her hang on to it. Because also at the same time, it's like they really need. I think one of my biggest critiques with SmackDown side of things is they really need to build up that women's division. You've got Jade, Bianca, Tiffany, and Nia. It's just been this square.
Charlotte, yeah.
Charlotte, but she just came back in the last year. I'm talking about like over the last couple of years. Like that's been your little square of the main event scene.
It's just going in circle with them girls. Like
right. And like
yeah, that's it really.
And I genuinely think that they're gonna keep Charlotte away from the main event scene just because of the way the fans tend to react to her. Which I think is also fine. I don't think it's necessary all the time for like the typical main event. Because I mean, look at Becky Lynch and Bayley on Raw. They're in the mid card right now, which is fine. It's completely fine. Use your name, use your influence, use your status to build up that division. So and I'm kind of hoping they do the same thing on SmackDown with the US Women's Championship, because I don't know what they're doing with that thing at this point.
I think Julia will have a pretty good run, but back to Naomi, I think that she is totally like outkicked whatever perceived push that she would probably get. She returned at the Rumble, 2023, and she came off 2024, even closer, right? And she had the pretty good TNA run. She was gone from the company for 18 months or 2 years almost, and it was just like, all right, Naomi's back. What do we got? And she finds her way, and she just keeps climbing up. And I think I'm happy for her. Like this is her career work, honestly. Like the peak of her career, and this Caution character coming out of this Jade feud really kind of stole the crown, no pun intended, of the push from Jade, in my opinion. And she should be coming out champion in this. And I don't think Jade is a a rejected push or a disappointment, because they came in at about the same time. But I think that they felt that Jade might be much highly pushed, or more of a priority, or more involved in the stories. But Naomi's on TV every week. She's more engaging. She's way more flexible in ring, out of ring, as a character, everything. I would honestly, you say WrestleMania, if they isolate her with like NXT girls or girls around the roster, this whole Caution thing could blow up. When she won money in the bank. Not that I had grander plans or whatever, but you do predictions or whatever. And my prediction is Naomi's going to win. She's going to get like Jordan Grace to be her heater. I could just see it because they have a friendship. Jordan Grace is coming to the end of her NXT run. It would be really, really fun TV, in my opinion. And now I could see that with like a Grace, or even like a Lash Legend, or someone with like big promising stature to go against the Nias and the Jades. Isolate Naomi around her. I don't think she needs a lot, but if they're going to push her at that tippy top level, which she kind of deserves, giving her a little stable or a little diesel push to Shawn, I think that she can do it and maybe go for 6-8 months and see what we look like at WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and see where we're at. Give her an honest shot that they thought Jade would have gotten. Let's go with Naomi. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I like that. I think because we really don't we have like Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest, and I love all of those women. I love all of those women, but when we're talking, we don't really have like a big bad women's faction that like everybody's scared of.
Yeah. And it fits her vibe, her gimmick.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think I also don't mind the fact that she's just an unhinged loose cannon that doesn't want to talk to anybody. I don't mind that at all either. I almost wonder if they would have Bianca side with Naomi in the grand scheme of things.
I don't want Bianca as a bad heel. I don't know why.
I
adore Bianca. I just don't want her to be a bad girl. I don't want her. I don't know why. It doesn't fit. I don't see it.
That's how I feel about everybody saying that Cody's turning heel in like a month, and I'm like, I hate to break it to you, that's not happening.
Realistically, May, No, it won't. But I don't want her to. I don't think it would work. Of course it would work. I think she's the most talented woman on the roster, and she can make anything work. I'm a Bianca stan, but I feel that
I love Bianca. Love
Yeah,
Bianca.
I don't think it's warranted. I don't think I'd want it. I don't think I like it, you know? So, all right, but I think we're at the end here, and I think we kind of both agreed. I'm gonna steal your little prediction, and if you're not right, I'm gonna complain online, and
Great! I can't wait.
I'm gonna make TikToks and go in your comments and say mean things. So I'm gonna do that. If Jade wins this, like we said, and Naomi cashes in at WrestleMania, and if that doesn't happen, it's on you, Ash, and
Okay.
I'm praying for you.
Okay. I think we might see 2 cash-ins at WrestleMania or at SummerSlam.
Did I say WrestleMania? But you know what I meant, SummerSlam.
Yeah, I was picking up what you were putting down.
Yeah,
I think we might see both of them at least attempt.
we've already seen a few attempts out of Seth, and I guess we've had a few attempts out of Naomi, but I'm kind of sick of the Money in the Bank trope in a way.
I want that brief. I love the briefcases. I love the custom designs this year. I think they're great. I'm gonna get Seth's.
Yeah.
That's just because I love him too. Like, it goes beyond anything. That man can do no wrong in my book.
Well, I think we should end there before we ruin our relationship anymore. Ash, we'll have to get you on for another one. Maybe a Seth Rollins match.
Oh, you want to fight? You want to fight? I'm just kidding. I don't care if you like punk.
All right. I'll see you later, Seth.
Bye.